I accidentally ruined her career by ref. I don't think SquChan's career is ruined, but whatever happened, happened, I suppose. We're gonna have a look at this. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what happened. Is this still the AI discourse? Probably it still is, right? Cause you know, AI uses a political statement. Okay, then I'm officially you know, the guy with the swastika because I have no issue with the use of AI. Either way, we're going in. Also, please consider liking and subscribing. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. That cannot be great.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here.
That cannot be great.
So in this video, we'll be once again talking about the AI related discourse in the VTubing scene. And as you can see from tweets like this, AI use is a political statement. It's very clear this is not about protecting the quality.
I wonder if Rev is gonna make a video about the delusional situation on Twitter of a Mint fan being called a PDF for liking a VTuber, right? I wonder if he's gonna make a video about this, because these people are that mentally ill, by the way.
Quality of art or defending artists in any sort of tangible way. It's a lot more about bullying people and virtue signaling, and doing so oftentimes very hypocritically. Now, I talked about this weeks ago, okay? It says today's news, but this has been news for weeks, where there is this ongoing debate about the ethical use of AI, where it seems like there's two camps, right? There's a camp that doesn't really care about this usage, and the other camp thinks it's the worst thing you could ever do, no matter what the consequences, to the point where you see narcissists like this speaking on behalf of the VTuber community, which I've said many times
doesn't exist. It's more like a space, but not a community, right? And the only reason this actually exists, right, this term of like a VTuber community, is because people out here are making content for other VTubers and not their own community. It's that simple, right? They're not making content for their own community, just other VTubers.
before, there's no such thing as the VTuber community. Anybody who thinks this is real is missing the point entirely. But they're speaking on behalf, getting 2 likes on 5,000 views, saying the whole community has rejected AI usage. Now here's where things get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. So not only a successful VTuber, but an artist herself, SquChan, has spoken up on the situation, actually reacting to one of my videos going over this entire discourse. And as you can see, she woke up to a bunch of notifications and a lot of attention regarding this subject. Now here's the background regarding my video and her reaction as well. It really began with Leaflet. Leaflet provided a free-to-use AI asset to help bridge the divide between PNG tubing and live 2D VTubing, giving people an opportunity for free resources to actually get their career off the ground and going. Now, of course, a lot of the loud usual suspects on Twitter were very upset about this, including a lot of artists and VTuber riggers who are saying this is something that is totally evil and something that should be condemned across the board. Ironically enough, some of the artists even adjusting their prices, reducing their prices to react to this situation while condemning it.
Which is hilarious, by the way, and really funny, right? It's really fun, right? That's a W, by the way. If that, right? If the dislike of what you're doing is so great, people are adjusting their prices so your art, quote unquote, becomes more affordable. I see this as an absolute win then.
But anyways, you can see how far some of these people have gone. Some people even going to the point of saying that using AI in the VTubing scene is something that is literally ruining society as a whole and putting...
That's not when touching on the much more harmful issue of draining water from local communities. I better hope this retard is vegan and technically grows his or her own food, right? Just saying it. If AI flourishes, we won't even own smartphones anymore. Oh, I know why you hate that, because then you can't be permanently online all the time. We'll be back in the 70s while the rich use AI to do everything. Does this moron know that right now she's on Twitter? Or he's on Twitter? Does this moron know they're on Twitter? The thing is, like, they're never consistent, right? It's the consistency that the non-existent consistency that pisses me off, right? That's what's pissing me off for the most part. They use things that actively support AI, but at the same time they hate AI. So you can't pick and choose. That's why it's virtue signaling. If you were that anti-AI, you would boycott Twitter. You would arguably boycott YouTube, boycott Twitch. You would boycott all of these, but you won't do that. You won't do that. The only reason you care now is because it affects your own livelihood, your own job, and that is all, right? That's the only reason that these people care, because finally, after all these years, there's something that makes them that will make them change their ways, and they don't like that.
Us back into the 1970s, ladies and gentlemen. But also, as a part of that related discourse, Leaflet would bring up the Neurosama connection and basically ask a lot of these VTubers, how do you feel about Neurosama? And as you can see from this meme and this little screenshot right here, some of the reactions to that question got them suspended because they were that unhinged and aggressive. But anyways, let's go to SquChan here. She is someone who's not only a successful VTuber, but also a successful artist as well. And in this clip, shared by another user that would go viral, she would share her thoughts.
Like, I'll be honest, I personally wouldn't use this, but do you think it's fair that when you're trying to start out as a streamer, you have to pay over $10,000 just to have a chance
Didn't know space had this much mass. Moving on.
at having a model? Or sure, you can buy it for like, you can buy a pre-made one, but that's a pre-made one. Everyone and their mother using it. You wanna have a chance to be unique. You don't want
The thing is, when you use a pre-made one, it's actually quite simple. You cannot have your own branding, right? You can't do any merch, none of that, right? Even if you're small and you could, and there's a lot of smaller ones who do, like, right? They do like these little cute keychains and stuff, right? You can't do that. Or if they make like there's people who make like almost the plushies essentially themselves, right? That doesn't work, right? You cannot do that. It's that simple. So you do not have a brand, and eventually, right, everyone is like, they see you as this model, right? And eventually, if you want to start doing that, you'll have to rebrand. There's no other choice, right? And people may or may not like your design. What do you do? That's the problem. That's the issue. Unless you want to make a design that's somewhat similar but still distinct from the pre-made you used. So yeah, like, it just... People don't consider that, I think. People don't consider that.
to be fucking, I don't know, Suika Avatar 9919.
It's about being recognizable. And that is just not given here, right? You are not particularly recognizable.
9, right? You want to be your own person. But the thing is that just the art, mind you, from a mid artist, not like a good one, is going to be at least 1,000, if not 2,000. And then you have to get that rigged. A good rigger who is not going to give you like a HoloLive rhombus is going to be at least 2,000 as well. At least. Listen, Filian is an amazing streamer, but look at her. Even she got trouble. She wanted to get her Nandroid and she couldn't. Because the artist who made that pre-made avatar didn't agree. So it's not good for her either. Why do you think she probably has to do this whole...
Yeah, that's why she's probably gone, because she has to fucking rebrand. Though, to be fair, I feel like this rebrand already has taken significant damage from the fact of how long she's gone. But yeah, that's what it essentially came down to. This whole, like, why she's gone is because she has to rebrand. Right? She'll have to rebrand. And that's that.
Like rebranding or whatever. If she's coming back, it's going to be probably with a brand new avatar that can be finally her own.
So those are her thoughts, and I agree with the caption providing the related clip saying, finally an artist with a rational take on AI art in VTubing, where she is essentially saying it's not that big of a deal. Even as an artist, it's not that big of a deal. She is not wholeheartedly supporting AI. She's not trying to replace artists. All she's saying is it's not that big of a deal. Okay, it's not worth all of this insanely toxic discourse. It's really not that big of a deal. But of course, in reaction to all of this, people used her as the latest lightning rod to virtue signal, including artists like this saying, you should get to use AI for the chance to be successful, ... recommending people to use AI that's A, ruining the environment, B...
Why are you... See, the thing is, like, it's funny, right? They associate data centers, like AI, with data centers, right? But even without the use of AI, right? Even if we don't have AI art, we don't have Gen AI, basically, right? You'll still need these data centers. Because nothing runs without them. There's no YouTube, no Twitter, no Twitch, no internet without data centers. You need data centers. Also, ruining the environment. Yes, they take water, but they reuse it to cooling. These are the issues of the same reason why energy, right? These idiots are the same reason. Essentially, they're using the exact same argument that anti-nuclear power retards use. They use water when they actually just use it for cooling and then let it out again. Anyway.
ruining their chances at being taken seriously. When you use a pre-made model, you know the license. When you use AI, you can't even copyright it. Now you look at the individuals providing these sorts of takes, and eventually it becomes very clear that they're highly upset about this sort of discourse, where it really boils down to it's not that big of a deal. And people would ask and get blocked saying, how much was your model?
I'm curious, you know what? Let me check something. Oh, 1,600. Yeah, that's definitely something one can afford. I want to check something always with these accounts, right? And that is what I want to check is, right? What I want to check is if these people have like something like an OnlyFans, because that's what it looks like, right?
And of course, as you can see, $1,600. Really? That's crazy. Can you imagine an aspiring VTuber not wanting to spend basically a month's rent anywhere these days and just getting their model for free? Oh, but wait a second. You're going to get condemned by the VTubing scene. You know what? Speaking on behalf of me, not any VTuber community or anything like that, I think getting off the ground running and getting a free start in the related scene, if you're really that invested, if you want to get going, is a great thing. Don't listen to all these wackadoos on social media, especially artists who have a stake in this game. Okay, they're mad that they have competition that's being provided for free and they are crashing out. Here's another example quoting the related clip saying, my model is unique as F and under 3,000.
Interesting. Under 3,000. Sadly, she does not. But it would have not surprised me. Under 3K, roughly 2.6K. Yeah, but don't... Not everyone has... Like, that's a month... That's like a month's worth of salary. That's just a month's worth of salary. 2.6K is a month... just 2.6K. That's not just 2.6. Get out of here. This is a retard.
$10. You don't need to pay over $10,000 to have a unique model. I know several affordable artists and riggers. I know an artist that is very talented and separates excellently, and she's cheap, like under 1K. She also does wonderful affordable rigs. There's zero reason to rely on generative AI. I mean, hell, I'm giving out a free model that comes with everything you need to start VTubing just because I want to give someone that foot in the door. If you need to find an affordable artisan rigger, DM me, please. I can hook you up with a list or find you something within your budget so long as the budget is reasonable. Just for the love of the gods, don't rely on generative AI. Now, of course, again, you can see someone who is, once again, with a stake in this game, who is trying to literally make a living selling this related stuff, being threatened by a free option that serves as an alternative. And of course, they speak on behalf of the VTuber community. That's right, they speak on behalf of everyone.
75 replies, it seems, and 7 likes. It seems like the VTuber community does not particularly agree on that, I fear. It's also funny, right? It's also very funny, right? Because as a man, this gets even harder. Not only do you have to find somebody that's affordable, you also have to find somebody who can draw and wants to draw men. So there's another thing that is not considered.
One, including SquChan. They didn't get the memo, I guess. This person speaks on behalf of all VTubers, artists, and anything related to that. But what's really funny is the dichotomy of the price this person is offering, then other individuals saying something that really contradicts them, saying not only is this incorrect but stupid, looking into HQ Rig right now, and it's $850 US. High quality art is $600 US, at least 2K for each, is misinformation. Maybe SKU is paying 2K each, but most people aren't. Fear mongering and making stuff up to support your beliefs is weird. Yeah, I'm sure these people are definitely the most appropriate source to lecture people about fear.
Funny, yet that other chick said 3K for her model. That's supposed like 2.6K. That's supposedly affordable. Yeah, sure, buddy. Hi, Death Gaming. How you doing? You're doing well. Men.
Mongering, where using AI or free assets might get you blacklisted from artists or related communities or scenes, but of course, they add on saying VTubing is a luxury. Art is a luxury. You don't actually need to be a VTuber. That is really amazing stuff right there. Well, I guess if it's a luxury, no one should ever have to do it, right? And if there's a cheaper alternative, you can't use that. Instead, you need to go to these.
That's where capitalism comes into play, right? Capitalism turns luxury into everyday products. And while art is now being turned into an everyday product, get fucked. It's that simple. Also, you don't need to be a VTuber, but if I want to be a VTuber due to, for example, privacy reasons, or if I like it, I can't be a VTuber because it's luxury. Well, interesting. Well, technically, the dictionary meaning of art is anything man-made. I think you mean? Yeah, technically, true. Kinda? Yeah. It's also like, again, these people only focus on one thing when they crash out, and that is art. They don't really, like, drawings. They don't care about writing. They don't care about jobs being replaced, right? You don't see them crash out about support being replaced with AI. That's not what they crash out about, right? You are only doing this, they're only doing this because they're now scared that they might be the next on the chopping block. And honestly, with this type of behavior, they deserve it.
Artists and get ripped off, because in many cases, that is the main concern. It's not just getting blacklisted because of your wrong think, but a lot of these artists are overcharging. And of course, what this person is saying about what is affordable directly contradicts the other user we just looked at 2 seconds ago giving their price. So it's like these people in this anti-AI camp can't even agree on what is a reasonable price in the first place. But I think this person right here is missing the point entirely. If they watched SquChan's video in the first place, they would understand it's not really that deep. All she's really saying in the full context is that she doesn't care. It's not that big of a deal if people use AI.
It's just like people are DMing me, SquChan, did you see it? Did you see it? Are you okay? SquChan, what is this? Oh my god, SquChan, what the fuck? SquChan, is this true? Are you actually Satan? Did you sell your soul to some alt?
Again, I said it before, but space isn't supposed to have this much mass. Moving on. Human-made, but the proper terminology is man-made, since it means both genders. Technically, yeah, man-made. What if woman makes art? Woman-made horror is beyond that comprehension.
Man? I'm like, huh? I want to remind all of you that all what I was trying to say, maybe I wasn't straightforward enough, is that I don't give a fuck about what you do. You know, you wanna use the avatar creation program, go nuts. You don't wanna use it, go nuts. I am not your mother. Why do you care about what I think? I'm not going to start like, oh, you're stupid.
It's because people take their opinions from others. You have to see this, right? You have to see this, how easily people turn on celebrities if they don't share the same opinion anymore, right? It is that interesting, right? That's the only reason people are doing this, is because, right? They can no longer watch you. They can no longer consume the content that you produce if you don't agree with them. That's all. That's where this all comes from, right? Right? That's why there's so many people being pressured into saying their opinions on things, because, right, to check if they have the right opinion or not, if I can continue supporting this person, and if they're not, I can cancel them.
I'm gonna cancel you. I'm gonna block you. I don't care. I'm not your mother. I'm not your father. You can decide for yourself what you want. You know? You're not. Shut up and participate in mingling right now. I don't care. I really don't care. There are a bunch of people who use like AI. I don't even use AI, motherfucker. Even my backgrounds are pre-made backgrounds from Regen. I made my avatar, the live 2D. I got myself a rigger. This is made by a thing too. Don't hate it. I'm not even using
Hi,
it.
Space
I
Cato.
don't care. 1 quadrillion cubic kilometers
That's
of
cool.
water.
I don't and
Onion.
never would use AI, but if someone getting into tubing wants to try it before spending on a real model, why not? Twitter, OMG, you're evil. How dare you
I know. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that it's like, I don't get one thing, right? Like, there is this is often a thing that, oh, if I see you use AI, I'm gonna block you, not associate with you, and whatever. That's too much effort, bro. That's too much effort. Sometimes I reuse the same sock for a single week. I don't care.
Now, of course, if any of these VTubers want to
The last information was just straight up not needed, but fair girl, you do you. Do your thing, queen. That is not information that we need.
look into the full context of what she's saying, it's a very simple point, but they're literally flooding her inbox saying she's evil, asking if she's this awful, terrible person because of her take, where she basically said using AI is not that big of a deal, and a lot of people who are established artists and are secure about their work will not be threatened by this sort of trend that is happening. But of course, people couldn't stop their virtue signaling. A lot of it has to do with pricing, where users like this say, I know many VTubers who were upset with the price tag attached to VTubing were sad they might.
One sock. What does she mean by that? What does she mean by that? What does she mean by that? So there's multiple options. She only wears one sock. She only wears one sock. Happens. Oh, she always swaps the other, but not the other. Not the other. Or it is true. all women on the internet are men, and this is a cum sock. No!
Might not ever get the chance to make it in the scene. You want to know what they did? They learned art and rigging. They drew and slash or rigged their own model and started streaming, which not only is defeated by the commentary and full context provided by her, but here's a good counterpoint. In quotes, this is really what they're saying. You are too poor to afford this hobby while working a job. Just spend hundreds of hours learning to draw and hundreds of hours learning rigging software. Stupid. Yes. You know what? If there is an alternative provided to these aspiring VTubers for free,
Like, it's hilarious, right? It's like interesting, right? She lost a pair of socks, or that. Many such questions. Many such questions. I personally would make a channel with just my voice because I don't want to be like some of the extreme YouTubers that full on tracking suits and everything. Honestly, I would actually not mind that. The thing that I can imagine, however, right? The nasty part I can't imagine, but like full body tracking is in the summer. Right? As like somebody who dies in summer, and guys, there's a good chance I won't be streaming next week on Thursday because we're gonna hit 36 degrees. I don't know how. It doesn't feel like it's gonna be 36 degrees, but apparently it says that, so I might be deep fried on that day. Anyway, regardless, I wonder how this would be like if you're like sweating like a pig. That must be nasty. All the female VTubers are actually 40-year-old men, the classic. The classic. But yeah, back to the topic. The thing is, right, I see people spend months on their model, months on rigging, months on art, months on like emojis and like animations and all that shit, right? I see people being in pre-debut state for years because they don't have their shit ready, right? Because they don't have their shit ready. For one, I think like the moment you have your model, you are a retard if you don't start, by the way. Because the longer you wait to start, the longer it gets to actually get anywhere, because the space is already pretty much oversaturated, especially since everyone eventually, right, we have a limit with corn tubers at this point, so there's that. You see Live It AI animation where she depicted as a fail artist from Austria. Well, that happened. That happened. Well, it's fair. She's part Asian, so you know, they're already super racist, so it's fine at this point. I don't know what's with Asian people, but they are interesting. See people spend $500 for VTubers or full on loans just for some of the VTuber character. Yeah, there's people who spend like 4K for a VTuber model. Starting, by the way, they're starting out and spending 4K. I think actually this is an interesting thing, right? Because they ask for ridiculous high prices for how little demand there is. Because you can't tell me that they're actually selling this many VTuber models, these people. Either way. It's just interesting. It's just interesting. And the truth is, eventually there will be a software that will just automatically rig your model. I'm actually surprised that that hasn't happened yet, honestly, right? Only 36, that's spring poker. Celsius in a brick house. In a house that's built for keeping it warm in the winter and not cold in the summer. That's degrees. Celsius. And I'm dying here because of these brick houses. But then again, right, Australia uses Celsius. But yeah, brick house. Brick house is death. This thing gets so hot, it's crazy. And then you also have to consider humidity and pressure, right? The reason what makes European heat waves so harsh is pressure and humidity. That's something that always gets forgotten. Anyway, yeah, there's a website that have thousands of free models. That's like 100. Yeah, that's probably like 100 Fahrenheit. Yeah, it could be. I don't use freedom units.
I think you're incredibly ignorant if you think people should not be allowed to take that option. But of course, it reflects the overall sentiment of these virtue signalers, where you have people like this saying, being a VTuber is more accessible than ever. There is no excuse for using AI. And this other user says, there's so many affordable options and free to use stuff now. It's insane to even resort to AI for things. And the original poster says, exactly. Interesting. There's so many affordable options. But not that one. Nope. Don't use that one. Don't use the actual affordable option being provided by people like Leaflet. That one is morally condemnable. You can't use that one. Just use the one approved by the people in the scene already. And here's another example of a user crashing out saying, bro, what? Where is she getting these numbers? There's plenty of good artists out there that charge way less than that. You just have to dig a bit before clicking on the first result. And how can you use the argument of not using pre-made models because you won't stand out or be unique when the alternative you use is AI? All AI designs look super generic and
I find that hilarious that this person says it looks super generic and uninspired. Have you seen how many cat girl VTubers there are? Have you seen how many whale VTubers there are? Have you seen how many foxes? Have you seen how many... They all go for the same thing. The current big VTuber is what people go for. Have you seen how many succubus VTubers there are? There's 1 million of those. What are you... Oh, they're so uninspired. Yeah, the 1000th cat girl is definitely not uninspired. Totally. No, whatsoever. Definitely not. Totally not. Another shark VTuber, another dragon VTuber, another 5 million succubus VTuber. Yeah, shut up. You don't, I don't know, bro. You see how many big tits they are? It's like, not only... See, the thing is, like, people copy models that are currently trending. I mean, we were at once at a point where people were copying literally voices. They were copying accents, right? There were people, right, that were copying the way Veve speaks, right? There were people copying outfits. There were, like, you can't tell me this, and then you have a million copycats. Of course, I have nothing against cat girl VTubers and all those, right? I don't have anything against that, but like the arguments like look super generic is not an argument. It's also like people don't really stay for the... It's like also people don't really stay for the model. They stay obviously for the person, right? It's mostly about branding. It's mostly about branding. You cannot make merch with a pre-used, like a pre-made model. You cannot make that. You can't. It's that simple. You can't. I'm so happy I started. When I started. True. Their formats to copy Markiplier's voice to dub your own voice. Essentially. It's like, it's so interesting. So I don't agree with that. I mean, it does have the same, like, it does have this, like, same art. I guess there's a lot of same-ish art styles. But, like, it's not really that much different from what's currently going on. So, like, I don't understand what the argument here is. It's mostly about just, like, what you can do with it, right? And then there's also... The overall is also, like, there's a lot of other issues, right? You have... Okay, how do I say this? You literally have people that make models and sell them for private use. I've seen somebody sell a model for about $1,000 for private use. You cannot use this model for like YouTube and content creation. Which means, yeah, you can use it for a Discord call. That's about it. That's where you have people going out there and be like, they're going to sell you a commercial license. You have people, right? You have people out there trying to sell you just a license. And should you ever do something wrong, they're going to be there and they're like, actually, I'm going to revoke your license now. So you can no longer use that, which, by the way, is illegal. So if you do that, you can get sued, and you should get sued. I don't get the concept of selling merch. Maybe I'm not a big YouTuber to understand. I guess. Can copy what barely exists at male VTubers. That's another issue, right? How many people are there that make art for male VTubers? That number is incredibly low, right? That number already doesn't exist. And if it does exist, it's like either between like Twink or 6'8" Giga Chat with a ginormous bulge and muscles that you could squash somebody like a watermelon between. It's like crazy. There's nothing normal. It's either there's no in between. It's either femboy or hunk. That's it. It's terrible. It's terrible. And then, right, you have a lot of discrimination. There's a lot of VTubers who will only make art for women and never for men, ever. The moment they found out you're a dude, you're out.
Inspired, you won't stand out at all. And when people say, quiet and pick up your little stylus quango, this person responds.
By the way, I absolutely love the fact that essentially, if you want to call it that, Leaflet made up a slur for these people, and it's quango.
Saying, do you have a better made-up slur? That one is lame AF. Which, of course, quango is a popular term used by Leaflet, and it's almost like these people want to be called slurs, which is a bit weird. Not sure why they want that, but here is a very good way to end this video. A nice little kind of cherry on top of the situation. Nice way to wrap it up. This VTuber saying, I'm starting to think there's a lot of real crabs in a bucket mentality going on with a lot of the anti-AI crowd. I've been saying it all along. The good and talented artists have nothing to worry about. They still get commissions because they know how to run a business and their work is leagues above what AI can offer. The loudest ban it, it's theft, artists are dying rhetoric often comes from people whose portfolios show exactly why they're worried. The ones freaking out the most seem to be those who stopped growing or the ones ripping off / ghosting clients, and they're mad they can't get away with it anymore. Now add on to that.
That's another thing. Scammers. That's another thing. Scammers. There's people out there, right? And it's just outrageous, right? There's people out there that will, for lack of a better term, they have a deadline. They give you a deadline, and they're not done by that deadline. I know somebody that waited 2 years. I'm not kidding you. 2 years for a commissioned VTuber model. There's retards in this space out there, right? That will take too many commissions and not finish any of them. They will not hold up their end of the deal. No deadlines, right? I think that, fun fact, I think that you should be legally required. If you cannot keep up with a deadline, you should be legally required to receive less money. I'm going to say it. Anywhere it works as well. I don't know why it doesn't work here. Right? When a delivery comes late, way too late, usually there's a penalty for the whoever's delivering it. When it's just interesting, right? I had another example, but I forgot it. The brain is gone. Oh no. I saw one on Twitch of a wolf with a huge bulge grows. I didn't even mean to watch that guy. I was looking in the yapping section since I don't watch much Twitch anyway. I stopped watching Twitch. I remember the diaper furry back then. That was terrible. Yeah, in the company they have penalties. Yeah, they have penalties. Right? They have penalties. So I don't understand why here there's no penalty. Because they deserve it. Like, it's that simple. We have a deal. This piece of artwork is done then and then. Right? If there's like a genuine reason, like you had like, I don't know, something bad happened, it's like fair, right? That's not a problem, okay? Right? Fair, right? Family member died, pet died, issues with work, fair. But if you are just too lazy to finish your job, then you deserve a penalty. It's that simple. So I'm not retiring Zoom. It's all fine. I'm just dialing back the amount of streaming because I feel a little burned out, and I also want to do other things. I just don't get to do things anymore, right? Right, I stream a lot, but the only stuff that I actually turn into content other reaction streams, nothing else. And I feel like I leave a lot of potential on the table that I can't utilize really. Right? It feels like I'm running in the same, like running myself on the ground. It's like the same spot. That's really all.
And give a little precursor to the next video, or something I'm going to upload tomorrow, where these artists are showing exactly the concerns that are being raised here, where people are being blacklisted or having their commissions denied by artists who are not only overcharging in situations, but rejecting potential clients for their wrongthink or having AI related references for what they want commissioned from these artists. And it really is a crabs in a bucket mentality. And you know what? This is crazy. You know what?
If you demand $50 for 3 simple emojis, you can suck a dick. Straight up. And I've seen it. I've seen people demand $100 even for like the most simple emotes. You can go fuck yourself at that point.
AI in the VTubing scene, no matter what content it can produce, it will never provide more content than what these anti-AI people in the scene are providing for users like myself. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please consider giving the video a like.
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the video. Yeah, there's really not much to say here about retiring. I am not retiring! I will stay. I will stay. I just want to work on some other stuff. That's all. There's really not much to say. These people... A lot of these people will deserve what they get. I feel like it's only the people being threatened that aren't good enough. I think it will weed out low-quality artists quite a bit. And that's really all there is to it. I think that's the worst that's going to happen is, right? The good artists will have no trouble and the bad artists will just be replaced. I'm a bit anti-AI, but not full. The thing is, like, do I like it? No, I'm not a fan of AI for human, like, creative endeavors, right? I think if there's one thing that's very, like, makes us human the most, it's our creativity. Right? And I feel like it's like a muscle, right? If you don't train that, it's gonna vanquish or it's gonna become less prominent, less strong, right? It's more so not of a, like, do I think it's good on, like, environmental, technical, whatever level? It's more so on a, right? I'm arguing on a more so philosophical level, right? I feel like if the one thing that should stay left, right? Because eventually nobody's going to have a job, right? Even houses will be built by robots and powered by AI, right? That's just the truth, right? We can 3D print houses at this point, right? We are at that point. Right? Eventually all jobs will be gone, right? So I think, like, if there's one thing that should stay, it's human art. Because we will eventually need something to do, and I think this drifts off into... It's like a bigger discussion into drifting off into nihilism. And I'm not really a fan of that. But yeah, that's really all there is to say. These people can get fucked.